AFP IMAGESSebastian Kurz has referred to the EU as being like a married couple. Sebastian Kurz used his speech at the Munich Security Conference to level criticism at the bloc that he believes needs to bolster security on its borders whilst keeping them open. Mr. Kurz said that when he was 18 he witnessed 10 new countries join the Union, but now the first country, the UK, is planning to leave. He continued, "If we the EU want to regain our strength, we must refocus on what the original idea of the European Union was," he said. "We need to make sure this motto, unity, diversity, does not turn into something else that says harmonize but separate," he continued. "Sometimes we have lost our focus on what is truly important, the fundamental questions, so I think we really must return to our original focus, the original idea of the EU, and only then we will have the power we need on the international stage. If we return to the big issues, we will have the power we need on the international stage. The freedom of movement, open borders. In order to protect all that, we must focus once again on protecting our external borders." The Austrian Chancellor also said that a migrant problem is destabilizing the bloc and still hasn't been solved, adding that it could escalate. Mr. Kurz, who at 31 is the youngest world leader, also referred to an apparent shift in the global power balance. Saturday, February 17, 2018, Prime Minister Theresa May rules out second referendum at the conference. The leader of the Conservative People's Party (OVP) said the USA has an economic power that is stronger than ever before, but they're retreating from the world stage. He said that China has been filling that vacuum in political terms and economic terms. Mr. Kurz appears to believe the European Union's influence has diminished on the world stage, and said, "I strongly believe that if as the EU become internally stronger again, if we protect our borders and ensure stability, become economically stronger, this will be the basis of becoming internationally more important again and thereby ensure more security and stability not just in Europe but also internationally." The Austrian leader spoke after the Prime Minister Theresa May used her speech to call for a security treaty with the EU after Brexit, insisting that Europe's security is our security. Mr. Kurz continued, "I have often had the impression that as the European Union we are sometimes acting like an old married couple, the West complaining about the East, the North complaining about the South, and then we've got those self-proclaimed vanguard that considers themselves progressive and they complain about those they consider to be old-fashioned." The Austrian leader had earlier criticized the Union over single-market regulations that are paralyzing the bloc and punishing small businesses. His comments in Munich come days after the President of the European Council Donald Tusk lit out at him after the first official meeting in Vienna. Mr. Tusk said that Austria's opposition to migrant quotas is fueling populism and dividing the EU.